Hello and welcome to the Twatty Who Reviews. Now, I'm sure some people will be wondering why we need yet another Doctor Who related show on that guy with the glasses. Well, simply put, my first Doctor Who review predated Nash's by about 4 months, and the last Angry Geeks by over a year. Why didn't I post them back then? Because I wasn't signed back then. Hell, I got an audience of barely 18 people, and now I get double that. I've put this off for a while because I knew I wanted to redo my original Doctor Who review, Fear Her, as an introduction to the series for that guy with the glasses, and frankly, I've really not wanted to rewatch Fear Her. I could have put up my original review, but it's only 7 minutes long. When I hit my stride, I managed nearly 40 minutes on Voyage of the Damned, and Fear Her deserves at least 20. But since this isn't actually 20 minutes either, maybe I should think about going back and doing a re-review sometime. So yeah, these reviews operate pretty much like Sci-Fi Debris, the guy who inspired me to do voiceover TV reviews in the first place. I'll tell you what happens, I'm sarcastic, and hopefully once or twice I'll make you laugh. There's one big difference between these and Sci-Fi Debris though. These are more like rants about the episode itself, its use of history, science, reality, and its relation to my own personal canon. I'm sure I'll talk about canon in depth in another episode, but suffice to say, in Doctor Who there is no official canon, so when I say something's fucked up with the canon, I'm going for my own personal one and not expecting everyone to agree. There's very little rhyme or reason to what I choose to review other than I think they're terrible. I don't have 60 years to spare on reviewing every single story in the show's history after all. I'm starting out reviewing Fear Her because it's the single worst episode since the show came back, and it's a pretty fucking strong contender for the worst episode in Doctor Who history. So welcome to the Twatty Who Reviews. Twatty because I'm a twat in them, Who because it's Doctor Who, and Review because if you don't understand that part, you really clicked on the wrong video, didn't you? God delusion. God is not great in the writings of Epicurus. This episode is the greatest piece of evidence that logically disproves an all-powerful, all-knowing, and all-loving God. If Epicurus was alive today, his famous quote would read, "Is God willing to prevent Fear Her but not able? Then he is not omnipotent. Is he able but not willing? Then he is malevolent. Is he both able and willing? Then whence cometh Fear Her? Is he neither able nor willing? Then why call him God?" Now, because in Russell T Davies' incarnation of Doctor Who there tended to be 2 cities in the UK, London and Cardiff, they flipped a coin and reopened in London in 2012, just before the Olympic Games. I suppose that's fortunate because this is one of the few Davies-era episodes that had to be set in London, because of all the Olympics shit. We open up with the music setting the scene. It's happy, oh so happy, 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 still happy. Nice of the music to inform us that a missing child is in fact sad. For half a second there I was thinking, zany? So it's an ordinary suburban street and a small girl is watching everyone else, a la the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Not because she's stupendously ugly, but because of a far worse thing. She can't act. This local old woman's wandering around, talking about how she feels that something's wrong, and screams at the boys to get indoors. I like to think that she does this every day and everyone's just grinning and bearing it until she gets taken away by the nice men in white coats.
They're not safe. They're in the garden. That's what it likes. It likes it when they're playing.
But because even a stopped clock tells the right time twice a day, she's right. And one of the boys is taken away, so there's something afoot. The most terrible something imaginable, a small girl-shaped something that can't act. And she brings with her all of the infernal powers of Cool World. Oh, the multiverse is fucked now. So right after the intro, the TARDIS arrives, and frankly, it's by far the best part of the episode.
Ah.
If only because I know how well the Doctor steers the TARDIS, and I can imagine he had dozens and dozens of adventures in the seconds it was gone. Better adventures than this one, great adventures. Adventures possibly without Rose. The Doctor and Rose have arrived to see the opening of the Olympics. So it makes you wonder why they twice decided to land here. which is likely miles from where it happens, when it will happen in quite a few hours' time. Oh well, time for an adventure beforehand. Apart from the kids vanishing, it's much colder than the summer it's supposed to be, probably because it was filmed in January. There's a local council worker filling in potholes, and cars have been mysteriously stopping in the middle of the street. Are these all connected? Will they have something to do with the inevitable alien presence? Of fucking course! It's a veritable Chekhov's gun shop down there. So the Doctor dives headfirst into an investigation by doing some mime, and by making a face like this.
What's your go? My, snakes and ladders?
First up, what's wrong with the Doctor in this episode? He's written like he doesn't understand or give a shit about human feelings or customs. Now, usually that'd be a good thing, but it flies in the face of how the 10th Doctor is usually written, i.e. as an irritating human with a magic wand that you'd like to smack, though for completely different reasons than this guy has. I wonder if Matthew Graham even saw a 10th Doctor episode before he wrote this. Now, usually that'd be an over-the-top attack on Matthew Graham because, frankly, he wrote Bone Kickers, but since this episode was commissioned and written very late in production as a previous episode fell through, and I'm doubtful that any previous episodes were finished enough to watch beforehand, I honestly get the feeling that Mr. Graham missed out on all of the tone meetings because he came in late, and so genuinely thought he was writing for the Doctor and not Spiky Head-o dipshit here. So I'm going to try and rein in my natural instincts and give Mr. Graham the benefit of the doubt, and not blame him for the Doctor acting out of character all this episode. And if my heart grows 3 times bigger during the course of the episode as a result, I'll be sure to let you know. Anyway, Rose has been getting information from the councilman who's clearly being paid by the hour because he's been filling in potholes in this little suburban street for the last week. But there's something interesting because the people have noticed the guy's been taking way too long to do the job and have decided he had something to do with the children's disappearance. It's nice they noticed, but frankly, the Olympics are on. You have people from all over the world descending on your city. What is really more likely? Blaming a guy from the government who you know is continuing to stay out in the open days after the last kid vanished, or some good old-fashioned xenophobia and people seeing a child slave ring where there isn't one. But I suppose that'd bring a dark edge to the episode that accusing a guy of child molestation or murder just doesn't. Oh, wait. So the Doctor announces that he's not a cat person, ever since one in a nun's wimple threatened him. The 7th Doctor was once stuck on a planet filled with were-cheetahs and evil flesh-eating domestic cats who tried to kill him, his companions, and a bunch of random humans. And he didn't fucking go off cats. The 10th Doctor is clearly a massive wuss. Anyway, Rose developed a sudden thing for cats, so they can later witness it being taken away and move the story along. So the little girl's trapping people, cats, and other things in drawings because she can, and because she's lonely, and petulant, and did I mention the fact that she can't act? Now, normally I wouldn't rag on a child actor so much, but who looked at her and saw her acting and thought, yep, I can get the necessary multi-personality performance out of her? Whoever it was, I hope they consider professional seppuku. She gives possibly the worst performance in the history of this show, and this show's history has included gems such as these.
Our genius has been abused.
What? No, not the mind probe.
My dreams of conquest!
I've given you friends, and you still moan. Moan, moan, moan.
Anyway, she gets angry. Well, I assume she's angry. It's hard to tell what emotion she's going for, given how bad she is at the acting thing.
No!
Oh, she's going for stoic. Okay. Anyway, some modern art drawing later, and the still cat-obsessed Rose is being attacked by something that wandered out of Cube 2 Hypercube. And I have never more wanted something that spiky and abstract to win a battle before. So the Sonic Screwdriver, being a level 18 wand of lesser chaos magic, easily defeats Jackson Pollock's addition to the Dungeons & Dragons bestiary. And through some very fucking stupid logic, they work out what's going on.
Are you deducting?
I think I am.
Rose, long before this, became the companion that I wanted dead. Locked in a box, cut him to very small pieces, and forced to watch Bone Kickers until the whole box cut up thing didn't seem too bad. But the Doctor, he's nearly as bad. This is Series 2 of New Who when they both act like arrogant prats. Almost all the fucking time.
Hello, I'm the Doctor and this is Rose. Can we see your daughter?
No, you can't.
Okay, bye.
Well, that story miscarried itself. Who wants some water ice? Actually, no. They get into the little girl's house, and apart from stealing children and creating abstract NES Zelda villains, she's also been busy drawing a picture of her abusive, dead father, who looks like he lives in a ghost train designed by the brain damaged. So in the little girl's room we see hundreds of pictures, when only 3 people have been reported missing. And it's revealed that the little girl's abilities aren't due to her mutant inability to act, but rather because a tiny alien has decided to live inside her. Insert obvious horrible joke here. Oh, another bit that would have been fine for the 2nd, 4th, 7th or 11th Doctors. But is about as in character for the 10th Doctor as grabbing a Tommy gun and shooting a fuckload of Borg. Anyway, the alien got separated from its thousands of siblings on a millennia-long journey by a solar flare and crashed in the street. It didn't crash in Rio or Vladivostok because the BBC's budget and Russell T Davies' imagination doesn't stretch that far. Now it's living inside the little girl, whose hair is really unflattering, in a schlitzy sort of way, and is capturing people in pictures so it doesn't feel lonely. That's all fine, but it doesn't explain why a species that is one parent birthing thousands of babies, a species that can live for millennia, a species who have the ability to warp reality, create life and capture people with a thought, isn't ruling the fucking universe. So they go out looking for the alien spaceship to send it on its way. They're sure it'll be able to fly perfectly because it's been sucking in heat from the local area, and therefore giving them an explanation for why the summer is clearly January.
It crashed. Why didn't it be destroyed?
Well, it's been sucking in all the heat it can. How did that actually keep it in a fit state to launch?
And yes, you heard that right. According to this episode, invent a vacuum cleaner that sucks up heat, and you have yourself a fully functional spaceship. So back to the TARDIS and the Doctor sympathising with the alien, while Rose pretty much wants to injure it. Now I have to decide, who do I hate more? Rose or the performance as the alien? I'm going to go down the middle and just wish the whole place got hit by a random piece of Olympics terrorism. And while they talk, the Doctor takes time to mention that he was a dad once. This is because this is Russell T Davies' era of Doctor Who, and the Doctor right now is not an eccentric alien from an alien culture that reproduced through looms or something, but he's instead basically a human with two hearts, who escaped from a culture filled with other humans with two hearts, who all wear silly hats all the time. So to stop her daughter drawing, the mother's taken all the girls' pencils away, except for her obvious secret stash and the ones that are clearly on her desk. And she steals the Doctor because you always want to make sure you target the good cop before the bad cop. And she acts like a petulant little unconvincingly acted prick, which I think the episode thinks we should sympathise with.
Leave me alone. I want to be with Chloe Webber. I love Chloe Webber.
So who votes that they should all leave her alone? Leave her all alone all over the fucking street. Oh, that sounded so much worse than I meant it to.
Look at this finish. Smooth as a baby's bottom. Not a bump or a lump.
Anyway, Rose gets help from the guy who helpfully explains everything that Rose needs to know to finish the episode quickly, otherwise known as the Councilman, because they badly need the time that could be used, given this a semi-decent conclusion, on making everyone ever watch this squirm, throw things at the TV, or forget they ever saw it. The ending is that bad. They find the ship, and I think I've worked out why this species doesn't rule the universe. An entire battle fleet could be swallowed by a small dog. Anyway, the mother's stupid enough to leave the bitch alone, and lo and behold, she begins to draw the Olympics opening ceremony.
Ellen, I told you not to leave her.
Hanging a lampshade on someone being cripplingly stupid for your story to happen doesn't make it any better. So yeah, she's drawing the Olympic ceremony.
And then, the world!
Stadium won't be enough. The Isolus has 4 billion brothers and sisters.
Both the alien and the child deserve such a beating it's not funny. And now it turns out that the spaceship doesn't need just heat, it needs love. Because they're the same fucking thing. So the love of the crowd watching the Olympic torch powers the ship up, and yes, this alien technology is powered on love. Fucking love! No, actually not fucking love. Or fucking. Just love. How does Doctor Who manage to preemptively defeat using lightning to transfer DNA as the dumbest bit of on-screen science ever? Simple! By having a spaceship powered by love! This idea is so fucking bad, it cannot under any circumstances be done well.
The biointerface hung slack in its harness, and there had been no speech in 163 cycles. It no longer fought the electrodes from the Hulbright brace as they stimulated the memory and emotional center of the brain. These memories produced an outpouring of energy, easily collected in harvest cycles until the biointerface was spent and required replacement. Over and over again, held in technology's embrace, it relived times dear to provide power for its electronic master, the spaceship powered by love. Oh, sorry, mistress. I guess I got a bit carried away. But please do continue.
Oh, I stand corrected. Thank you, Omega. So, with the spaceship powered up, the alien leaves the kid's body.
I can go home. Goodbye, Chloe Webber. I love you.
Of course, the alien fucking off turns everyone who was a drawing back to normal, because explaining it would mean the episode is even longer, and not even the writer wants that. And because even with a spaceship powered by love, we've not had quite enough stupid, the drawing of the little girl's abusive dead dad has come to life, and is so horrifying that he must be kept off screen. And please ignore the fact that the spaceship fucking off means that while all the humans are freed, apparently it also means that everything that was drawn is freed too, even though the alien's no longer there to give it fucking life. And between all three of them, Rose, the girl and the mum, can't work out that a wooden and glass door can be fucking broken, and the girl sings the dad to death. And then, the Doctor steals a fallen man's moment of glory by taking the Olympic torch off him when he stumbles.
This means that the Olympic dream is dead.
He could have had a heart attack or just tripped, but everyone in the audience thinks this is just wonderful. That poor man was waiting for that moment for years, and here comes a trench-coated git to steal it. Good form, Doctor, you prick. Colin Baker's Doctor might have made bad jokes while people melted, but he never crushed an innocent fallen man's dreams. Even a man who could be dying for all we know, as a bastard swans off to steal his glory. Fuck you, David Tennant's Doctor. And finally, we have Rose and the Doctor talking ominously because the finale's coming, and they need to remind viewers that occasionally there are good episodes to see, which unfortunately aren't the ones that immediately follow this one. But hey, they happen every so often, and at least the series finale has no fucking spaceship powered by love! Now, early on I said this episode needed to be set in London because of the Olympics shit, but rewatching it, this thing would have been better off without any of that. They should have set it in Cardiff and ended it 8 minutes early. It would have made for a much better episode. The concept here is a good one. It should have just been handled by Stephen Moffat. His skill at turning surreal and childish concepts into nightmare fuel could have made this a classic. Having the shadow of a dead abusive parent over a child could make for a good episode in its own right. But not here. Not like this. This is the pits. David Tennant was irritating. Rose was Rose, which means she was irritating. The guest stars were boring, unmemorable, or just crap.